This is certainly a very bright light. Hello everyone and welcome back to another video, and today we're going to have a look at a product that's made by Wurkkos. It's the HD05. Wurkkos sent me this item to make an unbiased, honest review of it. I have not been offered any money with which to make this review. All of the comments, opinions and findings of this flashlight are purely my own. Now back to the unboxing. As with all of Wurkkos products, they come well packaged and come with a lovely welcoming and readme card. As I go through the unboxing, we're faced with a wrist strap. This is extremely well made and very flexible. I will attach that later. The included USB-C to USB-C charging cable is short but purposeful nonetheless. The included instructional booklet is certainly large and a little bit overwhelming if you ask me. There's a lot of information all on one broad sheet. I realise this will cut down costs, but it certainly lets down the product packaging in my opinion. Thankfully I know Wurkkos products are very well made, and this is not a reflection on the product itself. All the information you need is certainly here, but it's just difficult to find it. Now to unveil the HD05. Certainly the first impressions are good, and it feels very solid in the hand. Before I do anything else, I think it's time to charge the battery. Many screw turns certainly helps the IP rating. This is IPX6. Before you can charge or do anything with the flashlight, you have to remove the little orange tag that's on top of the battery. There is a spring at the top of the cap. This dampens any potential movement by the battery whilst doing any rigorous exercise. The cap is also heavily magnetised. We'll look at that later. The included battery is 5000 mAh and the model number is 21700. This is also 3.6 volts, which will certainly provide this with a huge amount of power for extended periods. As you slide the battery into the flashlight, you notice how snug it is, and also that there is a spring at the very bottom as it drops in. Again, this removes any movement or potential sounds. This IPX6 rating means it cannot be submerged, but it can withstand heavy rain, or indeed direct water jets. Thankfully Wurkkos have provided 2 rubber seals, just in case the others should fail. I've never needed to replace seals on any of these flashlights. As you screw the base back into place, you notice how snug everything feels. It adds to its solidity, and of course gives you reassurance that this product won't let you down. Now to the charging. The charging is completed through USB-C to USB-C through this little rubber sealed side port. Simply attach the included USB-C cable to the side port and the other end to a USB-C plug. The charging indicator will glow red whilst charging. The charging indicator gives you an idea about how much charge is left. Flashing red means there's between 1 and 25% left. Solid red means 25 to 50% or charging. Flashing green means between 50 and 75%. And finally, solid green means 75 to 100%. When charging is complete, the light glows green. One small criticism I found is that the rubber seal is a little bit flimsy, and I can imagine it will get pulled off if you're not too careful with it. So make sure it's well seated after charging. The main shell of this flashlight is made from aerospace grade aluminium, which adds to its durability and of course looks. This flashlight is available in 2 different lighting options, warm or cool light. This is the cool light version that I'm using now. The cool light provides the most lumens and the greatest range. When taking a closer look around the flashlight, you notice that it has a metal, very well made, solid clip. Now to the dimensions. The HD05 weighs precisely 239 grams. The overall length is 128.41 millimeters. The width is 36.51 millimeters. And the depth is 29.83 millimeters. You could almost use this as a self-defense weapon, because when you hold it like this, the raised bezel certainly gives the lens protection, especially when resting it down on the floor. Now to the operation of this flashlight. The HD05 has a lock function. Simply press the button 4 times quickly. The light flashes to indicate that it's now locked. If you press the power button when it's locked, it just flashes. To unlock the flashlight, simply press it 4 times quickly again. The light returns to its last used setting. If you press and hold the button in lock mode, you can still get access to 7 lumens. When you release the button, it will switch off. To activate the main light, simply press the button once. The lowest setting is 7 lumens. This has stepless dimming. Simply hold the power button down and then let it ramp up to 3100 lumens or whatever power setting you wish it to be at. And to reduce the light intensity, simply press and hold the power button and reduce it all the way down back to 7 lumens, which can last up to a staggering 10 days. A quick 3 presses takes it to the strobe function. This pulsates between slow and fast moving light. This is up to 3100 lumens and can last up to 2 hours. Whilst in this mode, double pressing takes it to the SOS mode. This flashes between 150 and 200 lumens. This will pulse for over 2 hours worth of continuous signalling. And again in this mode, double press again and it takes you to the beacon mode. This flashes at 85 lumens every 2 seconds. The beacon mode can flash for up to 2 weeks. This flashlight has a memory function, so select the light intensity you wish, you can switch it off, and then when you switch it back on it returns to that same light. By double pressing the power button it will immediately ramp up to boost mode or the highest setting. And if you double press again it will immediately return back down to the lowest setting. And one press will return you back to the original light setting that you were using the main light for. And then one last press will allow you to switch the light off. The HD05 has a UV light. Simply turn the main dial to the UV selector. This has 2 intensities, low and high. To change between the two, simply press and hold the power button. This has a wavelength of 365 nanometers and a power rating of 700 to 1600 megawatts. You can see the UV emitter on screen now. The HD05 also has a red light function. Simply rotate the selector until you get to the red light function. Simply press the main button once to turn it on. Here is the red light emitter at the front. To alter the light intensity, just press and hold the main button as it is stepless dimming. The power ranges from 90 lumens down to 8 lumens and lasts between 11 and 62 hours depending on the setting you have it at. The wavelength ranges between 620 and 630 nanometers. The HD05 also has a built-in side floodlight that can be flipped out and also rotated. This is automatically activated as soon as you pull it out. The hinge it's on is well made and it certainly doesn't feel like it's going to break any time soon. The light also features stepless dimming. The brightness ranges between 4.5 and 300 lumens and can run from anything from 4 hours up to 259 hours. As soon as you pull out the side light, whatever setting you have it on automatically switches off, and as you close it you return back to the same light you were using before. The hinge itself is brilliantly engineered and as a result will maintain its position whichever angle you left it at. So just the right amount of tension so it's easy to operate and yet will definitely hold its position. The magnetic base has a 1/4 inch screw thread so you can attach a tripod. This gives you a huge amount of flexibility so you can use it either as a camping light or indeed a useful pocket-sized work light. All of these functions lead it to be a very versatile flashlight. I thought it would be interesting to compare this to the HD02, which is certainly a similar product. They both share the same magnetic base. Both of these models have a fold-out floodlight. The HD02 has 2 of course, however the HD05 has just the one. The HD05 can be tilted up to 135 degrees and rotated 180 degrees. This makes it particularly useful if you're trying to get just the correct work angle. There is a slight difference in power between the two models. The HD02 on the left here provides up to 3200 lumens, whereas the HD05 provides 3100 lumens. The HD05 on the right is slightly easier to hold. The HD02 is featured with a laser. They both have UV lights. The HD05 is the only one fitted with a red light. The HD05 on the right to my mind is slightly easier to hold as mentioned before as it's narrower. The HD02, although feature packed, is slightly more difficult to hold and is significantly wider. Both models share the same very strong magnet. Now for some outside testing and to see if we can use this HD05 as a potential work light. Well, the magnet attaches well to the side of the car. Moving from a medium setting to the high setting, you can certainly see it being very useful when changing a wheel. The throw of light from this little side light is actually quite impressive. For safety reasons it will not only light the subject matter up but you also. So not only can you see but you can be seen. Okay, starting with the dimmest setting, I'm now going to ramp it straight up to the maximum setting using stepless dimming. To the end of the road I've measured at about 100 meters or just over, so it lights up very clearly. And again, I'm just going to dim it down again so you can just see the difference. Although you can't see it on the camera, I can see a good 10 meters on the lowest setting. Okay, now to try the red light and see how well that does. This is actually much better and more efficient than I thought it would be. This is also an economical mode for the battery. Now for the side floodlight, starting with the lowest, going to the highest. It's only a nice gentle beam, both on the highest and the lowest setting. Just while I'm out, I'll try the strobe function. Now by using my athletic prowess, I was able to turn around and illuminate the building behind me, and then stepping it down from the highest setting down to the lowest. I then went to the rear garden to check out the side floodlight. Whilst positioning the light, I realised quickly I should have attached the tripod. So I went off to go and grab the tripod, and as you notice, it looks a lot more sturdy. This is the floodlight on the brightest setting, and this is the floodlight on the lowest setting, so you can see it's excellent for camping. This is the strobe function whilst attached to the tripod in the middle of the lawn. This is the lowest setting ramping up to the highest setting, lighting up a good area of about 30 meters of the lawn. This is the strobe function, and this is how it looks under the red light playing with the light power. Still an extremely usable light. And this is the low mode, looking into the field next door, and then increasing the power to its maximum level so we can look a little bit further. According to the manual, this has a 335 meter range. I would argue the fact that I think it can actually see further. It's a very broad beam without being too direct or too washed out. The red light on its full power is actually extremely effective, and I can see a good 30 to 40 meters. Now to my conclusion of the HD05 by Wurkkos. The main bulk of this flashlight is made from aerospace aluminium, and because of that it's extremely rugged. This with the IPX6 rating makes it a very solid contender for all weather conditions. However, not good enough to be submerged. Depending on which light mode you're using, the battery will last anything from 1 hour to up to 10 days. The built-in light functions such as the red light, UV light and side light, together with the main beam, make it extremely versatile. The magnetic base with the tripod screw mount is also extremely handy. The attached metal belt clip is extremely well made. The reflector inside the lens is OP or orange peel. This is apparently a lot more efficient than TIR. The internal surface is made up of little bumps that apparently scatter light efficiently. The only downside I could see with this flashlight is the rubberized charging port cover, because I believe if you're not careful this will be either worn away or torn off. But if you're careful, this certainly won't be an issue at all. With regards to pricing of this flashlight, I've been looking online and it ranges anything from £55 to £75, so I would suggest look out for bargains. Anything that's significantly cheaper than this is obviously a copy, so I would avoid those like the plague. To my mind, this is feature packed, well made, and has all the functions that anyone could ever need, and is most certainly worth the purchase if you're in need for a decent flashlight. If you enjoyed this video or would like to see some more, please remember to like and subscribe, and I welcome any comments, both positive, negative or whatever you wish to tell me. Remember to be strong, kind and be safe. Until next time, see you soon.